So I hope you remember what we were talking about before the break. We have started looking at another feature of Java 8, namely default keyword available to Java interfaces to supply the non-abstract or concrete method implementation. So I hope everyone is ready to get started. So what you'll do is just copy this formula interface so you don't have to type too much code. Or if you don't want to do it, you can just sit back and understand, your choice. So here we're going to create a new project. Don't disturb day 17.1. Let that be for all the references to your map or all map objectives. So create quickly day 17.2. And here we will test all the new features of Java 8. And here, create a package here, P1 or something. We'll start a P1, P2, P3. And here, Control V, code, copy that code. If you want, I can send you this. There's nothing which I've written here, but in case anyone is finding it, copying part, sometimes you get an issue in copying. So I'm sending you this formula interface. So tell me, are there any compiler errors you are facing? See, the compiler version which we have is JDK 11. So you'll never get any compiler issues. Respond, guys. So you should not have anything. Unless until you are working with an ancient compiler, you should not get this. So as you can see, these are the two keywords which are added, public and abstract. And the Java compiler has added public keyword here. The implicit keyword added is only public. Done? Can we continue? Okay, so now let us just writing the interface is not sufficient. So let us write the implementation class. So here, let's create its implementation class. Say my formula, or you can say formula implementation, anything. And it is going to, you know, the shortcuts, interfaces, you simply say add, and here you say formula. So as you can see, the moment you write the implementation class, which is the only method which is compulsory to implement, your choices are abstract, default, both or neither. Which is the only method which is compulsory to implement? Only the abstract methods. Everyone knows that. Because when you say implements, it is it's a relationship. So when you are inheriting the abstract functionality, you do that. And you can say, this calculation is like the business logic doesn't matter. So suppose I say A star 5, anything you can add. So just add some SOPs here. So you will know what is happening. So add a SOP in interface default method. So when you run it, you will know which method is getting called and all that. And here I'm saying implementing abstract method. You can say SOP 1, 2, 3, 4 also, doesn't matter. So this my formula has inherited the default method, which is square root, and it has implemented the abstract method. Now answer the next question. Can one interface have multiple implementation classes? Can I write another class, let's say another formula, implements formula? Of course, yes. So let's create another implementation class. So I can show you all the points easily. So let's say another formula, any name. And here again I'm saying implements formula. And here you can have the different implementation. So let's say A plus something, like doesn't matter. The business logic is not important. Now answer the next question. Okay, I'll say SOP. Another implementation of abstract method. Okay, so you know this. So now I'll ask a question and you answer. Can implementation class override inherited default method? Answer yes or no. It's a Boolean question. Yes, of course. So there both possibilities exist. Both possibilities I have shown you. This fellow, my formula is inheriting the default functionality, and here I'm going to override it. So don't waste your time. I'm going a little fast in typing here. I'm not waiting for everyone because here the point is not a business logic, just telling you rules. So here you can say source, override implement, and suppose you say I want to override this. So if you see in formula, you are doing the math dot square root of a plus b. So suppose here I say I want to do the square root of, sorry. Suppose I say here any formula at dot square root of a into b. Just keep the business logic different so you'll know from the results and all that. And of course, I'm saying here overriding default method implementation. Are we 100% clear so far? If you are finding it difficult in typing and understanding the concept, stop typing. I'll tell you when you have to resume typing and all that. But this much, it just sit back and understand the part. And like I said, after I finish this, I'll share all this with you. So take a look at it. You have a formula, abstract, and a default method. My formula one implementation class, which has to implement the abstract method and inheriting the default functionality. This one can override it also. Got it so far? So now let us write a tester in the same package. Can interface reference directly refer to implementation class? All these statements you know very well. So I just want to ask you a question, yes or no. Can interface references directly refer to implementation class? Yes. What is the concept involved? Upcasting. So here, create an array of interface type of references, formulae. And here, you can create the array. And here, all these things we had done. You can open our way on interfaces. I'm just showing you the similar thing, but with a default keyword added. So here I'm saying new my formula and new another formula. This is to revise. This is nothing but your upcasting. So how many Java objects, how many objects will be created in the heap when this line is executed? Guys, you're wrong. 3 is a correct answer. First is that array, a holder, array object. Array has that class pointer length equal to 2, and then there will be an instance of my formula as well as another formula. So there are 3 objects created in the heap. Now, can I attach a for each to the array? Of course, yes. So here, for each formula f in formulae, that is a plural of formula. Here, if I say, I'm just calling the methods, f dot calculate, let's say something, and f dot square root, let's say something. Okay. So now don't run it. You just answer me. So here, first of all, this is nothing but what? For each, your standard for each. So here, compiler goes by the type of the reference and JVM goes by the type of the object. So anyone wants to tell me for the first iteration of the loop, this calculate and square root method will be called from which object? My formula or another formula? My formula. Everyone gets it? So now go to that my formula. So this method calculate will get called. You'll see implementing abstract method and all that. But now when I say f dot square root, have we overridden this method? No. So you will see the inherited default method in interface default method that will get called. I'm just telling you the output before we run it. And when it goes to the second iteration, it is going to call the methods on another formula object. So f dot calculate 10. What will be the answer? What will be the answer of f dot calculate 10? Simple question, simple answer, 15. And what that will be for square root? Square root of, what are the numbers I've given? 15 into 10, 150. So around, it's not exact square root, but you will get to see this. So just confirm. Idea is understanding the rules. All these are, questions typically asked given a larger piece of code, what will happen? So here implementation of the abstract method inherited in interface default method. I mean, this is inherited default and overriding form of it. Understood all the statements done so far? Everyone is clear? Okay. So now this was your one thing. Now let me show you. I said something that even after allowing or adding default methods, you will not run into, you will never have a confusion or ambiguity that which method is getting called. So I want to show you that. So I'll create another package here. Or okay, what I'll do is, yeah, I'll create another package. I was just thinking what to show you. So let's say P2. And I'm just copying a interface formula here. Okay, so you can see that as a formula. And now I'm making a copy of this interface into formula 2. Do not keep typing if you're finding it hard to cope up with my speed. And that speed is only copy pasting. I'm not doing anything. So now I've got two interfaces, formula and formula 2. And here they have, I just now made a copy. So here, tell me, wait, one sec. So here formula is fine. And formula 2, I'll say A minus B, something. So now, can one class, are you understanding what I did? I just made a copy paste and I just changed the formula here, mat dot square root A minus B. One is A plus B, one is computing the square root of a subtraction. Now, when I write the implementation class, so let me write the implementation class. My implementation class. And here, when I say, can one class implement multiple interfaces? Again, a Boolean simple question. Yes. So when I say implements formula as well as formula 2. So you get a compiler error. So I have a question for you now. If you want to solve this compiler error, what is it I'll have to do? You understood the question? There is a compiler error here. So what is it I'll have to do to to solve the compiler error? I don't want to make the class abstract. Where we are talking about abstract classes, I want to implement the methods. So no, don't say that. Implement method. Give me the name of the method which I have to implement. Talk clearly. Which method? Calculate method. Okay. So here I'll say source override implement calculate method. Okay. And here I'm saying something like the formula doesn't matter. I mean, the calculate doesn't matter. But now observe and conclude. This is where it becomes interesting. Guys, people ask you these. These are all the popular questions, favorite questions. Even after implementing the abstract method, is there still a compiler error or compiler error is gone? Compiler is still shouting. And here, this is what I was trying to tell you before the break. Just take the cursor. I'm taking the cursor here and it will tell you the duplicate default methods named square root with the parameters. In short, compiler is telling you that you are inheriting a duplicate default method. So in this case, is compiler, what is it called? Allowing you the compilation? Absolutely not. So in such case, what is the solution? Anytime you have, see, sensibly you won't do this. Who will cause this ambiguity? You won't. But in case you see the exam question like this, what is the rule we are saying is, if you have any class which has a duplicate default method, what is it we must do? Guess smartly. I said this already before the break. What is it compiler forces? So compiler will not allow. No, wrong answer, Prashant. What is it you will be required to do? No, I'm not changing any interfaces. No abstract class. Yes, Rajveer is right. Compiler forces. Write it down. In case of, I mean, you don't have to write that down. Anyway, you'll get it. In case of duplicate default methods to, what do you say? to avoid the ambiguity, Java C, that is Java 8 onwards, forces. Otherwise, it won't compile. Forces the programmer to override duplicate default method. Unless until you do that, it is not possible for you to compile. So you will never achieve, you'll never get the ambiguity or confusion in the runtime. So this is where I'm doing override implement methods and choose square root. And now tell me, is the ambiguity, is the compiler error still there or compiler error is gone? Compiler error is gone. And then in that case, suppose there is already answer. Suppose you want to refer to this formulas inherited method. What is the syntax, guys? The name of the interface. What is the relationship between an implementation class and an interface? It's an inheritance. So super means super type. So formula dot super dot square root you can access. And if you want to access, for example, how to invoke or how do I call that other one? You'll have to call it as formula to interface name, which is the keyword which comes after that, super dot square root, and you can say a comma b. So I'll make the statements again and we'll go to the next point. So let me ask you, after adding default methods, duplicate default methods, okay, if you have the implementation class which has duplicate default methods, will code compile if you don't override the default methods? The code will never compile. So what is the better way of saying this? Anytime compiler comes across the duplicate default method implementation, compiler is going to force you on overriding the duplicate default method. And here I'll write the question and answer. How to access inherited default method? Answer is in front of you. So what is the answer? Name of the interface followed by super keyword and call this. So easy question. When the line number 15 is executed, where the control will go? To formula 2. And in short, you will see math dot square root subtraction, square root of a subtraction. And when I say this, formula dot super dot square, here it will call the addition. I'm not testing it because I don't want to waste time. Is the point clear? So let me wrap it up by asking you a question. Even after Java 8, even after adding the default method implementation, will you ever face an ambiguity in runtime, any confusion, any diamond problem? Answer is never. Java 8 people have already thought of it. Compiler itself doesn't allow you compilation, and you are forced to override the default method. So this was as far as default keyword is introduced. So like I told you, today you'll definitely require 1 to 1.5 hours to revise so many things which I'm saying. So do spend that much time in lab session, and I'll be there, of course, logging in good time to solve any queries. Now go to the next, not here, Java new features. So read the next point 2 and I'll explain it line by line. Read that. You are reading this point 2. Okay, I hope you have finished reading. So like how Java compiler or Java onwards, modern Java API allows you to add default method implementation. Now you can add the static methods also in Java interfaces. Till now, we could only add the static methods in the classes. But tell me guys, how do you call the static methods? Normally, if it is added in the class, how do you refer to static method? If you have not done any import static, class name dot method name. Do you require any instance for calling a static method? Of course, no. They are at a class level. They are loaded at the class loading time, right? So if anyway you don't require instance, then why you want to write a class if all you want to write is a static method? So it is considered as a better alternative, better coding practice. If you want to write only static methods, now onwards, what is it you are going to prefer? Class CI interface. What is the preference now? You will add it in the interface. So, which will be the only keyword? When you write a static method, only keyword Java compiler will add is public. See, the scope, access specifier is still public. Whether it is public abstract, public default or public static, they are all public methods. And once we write them, we'll write an example in a minute. Can you ever override static methods? We learned it long back. Method overriding means runtime polymorphism. Depending on the type of the object, the behavior changes. But here, there's no object associated with the static APIs. So, static methods can never be implemented. I'm sorry, overridden. But you will see that you will be able to redeclare them. And the last point before we write an example is, how will you call such static methods of the interface? Interface name dot member name. And if you use import static, of course you can remove that. So this is what we are going to write an example in a minute. So let me create a example of it. Let's create a package here, P3 src package P3. And I'm just copying this formula interface so that you know. And I can also copy that my formula. I don't have to type more. So you can say Control-Shift-W, or like I said, I'm going a little fast in typing here. So you can just sit back and understand the whole concept. So here, you already saw there is a public abstract method. There is a public default method. Now let us add a static method. And static methods be added in interface. You know the answer to the question is very much yes. But which is the access specifier? It is still public. So all you are adding is static. You can add public, but it does not require. Or you can have anything. So suppose I say static show. And here, show, which is your static method of interface. So after looking at it, you can check it. Is there any compiler error? No, because we are using Java 11, JDK 11 as a compiler. So it is definitely allowed. So this is your statement 1. So which is the only keyword which is added by compiler here? Implicitly added by the compiler is public, nothing else. So this is also allowed. Now let us write in your, let me open the my formula. I'm just trying to, show you rules. So here, so I'll write in a question answer format. Can you override a static method? Answer is absolutely not. Okay, so just check what I'm doing. So here in show static method inner class. So observe and conclude. Tell me, are there any compiler errors here? Can you see any compiler error? No. So you might be thinking wrongly that, oh great, I'm overriding this method. You are absolutely wrong in thinking. Can you tell me, is there any way to tell the compiler that whatever follows is the overriding form of the method? Overloaded is wrong, Sushant. There is an annotation. Sushant, why you are wrong? Overloaded means method signature differs. I've kept the same method signature, so you are wrong. Okay. So now simply try to add override annotation And now tell me, is this really the overriding form of the method? Answer is absolutely not. So guys, always do this acid testing. If you are in any time in doubt, just add this. So can you override a static method? No. So the other part is, but can you redeclare the static method in a class? Answer is 100% yes. So this is the redeclared form of it. Getting me? So is it possible to override it? No. But declaring it again is very much possible. So let us write a two-liner tester here so that you will understand. So here if I say tester. So if I now have a question, I'll ask you the question. How to invoke the interfaces static method? Don't give me any import static and all. You just tell me. It's an easy question. I don't think anyone should be confusing here. I want to call this formulas show method interfaces static method. How will I call it? Everyone knows. No. I want the formulas first, the interfaces. Interface name dot member name, right? So what is it? Formula dot show over. And can I call this method also from the class? Yes, of course. How will I call this method now? The class level static method, class name dot member name as before. So here, how to invoke the redeclared method, redeclared static. Do read these comments when you are revising. How to invoke the redeclared static method from the of a class. Okay, I'll just say this. Answer is simple enough. My formula. You can of course use import static. Currently showing you that. And if you run this from the output, you should be able to see. So it is calling the static method of the interface, whereas my formula.show is definitely calling the static method from the class. So let's have a quick recap. From Java 8 onwards, since Java 8 onwards, can you add default as well as static methods in the interface? Yes. So default keyword has been added. Can you add default method in the class? Default methods in the class. Can you add a default keyword in the class? Of course not. I said this already. It can only exist in the interface. When you talk about static methods, will you be able to override the static methods ever? Like, answer is never. But can you redeclare? I'm not saying redefine, redeclare the same method. Answer is yes. And how to call it is the type name, interface name or class name, dot method name. So anytime further, if you are just writing couple of static methods, which is the type you will prefer? Will you prefer classes or will you prefer interfaces? Answer is interface. Okay. So these were some additional features. Now let me take you to the next most important feature. This is a major changer, game changer kind of a thing. I don't remember frankly because it has been a lot of days. When we were discussing interfaces, did I discuss functional interface, guys? I don't remember. So you'll have to tell me. I've not discussed it, fine. So I'll discuss it now. No worries. So now we are talking about the third point, which is the most important point and which is the heart of functional programming in Java. So since Java 8 onwards, you have a concept of a functional interface. So read this. I've already given you the answers, but we'll discuss one by one. Okay, so let's start reading it line by line. What is a functional interface? The interface which contains exactly single abstract method, abbreviated as SAM. It is called as a functional interface. So always examples make it clearer. So you will see when I start on threads. See, after today, I mean, tomorrow we are going to start with IO, and after that threads. That will complete your core Java. Then there are loose small topics such as JVM architecture and reflection. I'll plan it sometime in advanced Java itself. So coming back to the point, runnable interface is the heart of threads, multi-threading in Java. Everyone knows comparable, comparative, comparator, iterable. So if you open these interfaces, they have single abstract method. So they are called as functional interfaces. And you will see shortly, Java has added an entire package. What is the name of the package? java.util.function. And that package is full of all the functional interfaces such as consumer, predicate, by consumer, etc. So many interfaces you are going to see. So listen to the question carefully. Are functional interfaces, okay, let me rephrase it. Were functional interfaces present earlier to Java 8? 100% yes. Comparable, comparator, iterable, runnable existed before. But which is the new thing they have started here? They have added certain additional interfaces, and mainly they have added a new annotation. So tell me, is it a class level annotation or is it an interface level annotation? Dumb question, easy question. It is going to come at the top of the interface, and here you will see that if your interface has a single abstract method, then there won't be any compiler error. Otherwise, there will be a compiler error. And now the most important statement of the day is, here you will see after 10-15 minutes, you will see that functional interfaces expose how many abstract functionalities? Tell me, single or multiple? Answer is single functionality. So whatever you have studied with me in Java or in your data, I don't know about ADS, what all you have done, but anyway, so all we were using in all these earlier days, at least with me, we could never pass a function. It is possible in JavaScript, it is possible in C#, it is, but in Java it wasn't allowed. So Java wasn't supporting functional programming features till Java 7. It was only object-oriented language. But now onwards means Java 8 onwards, you will see that you can pass the entire behavior, entire functionality as the method argument. And for that purpose, you will see wherever there is a functional interface reference required, you can substitute it by your famous well-known lambda expression. Or then later I'll show you method references, constructor references, etc. So functional interfaces allow you to pass entire behavior functionality to your methods. But guys, unless until you write something, things look a little confusing. So allow me some time. So I have already answered the questions. You can check. Tell me, is this, there's already answer there. Is this a functional interface? Already answer exists. Why? Because how many abstract methods are we having here? Single or multiple? Single. If you don't add any keywords, it is public and abstract. Why this is also, is this a marker interface or is it a functional interface? Tell me, B. What is B? Functional interface or a marker interface? Marker means empty. Marker is wrong. It is a functional interface, guys. Extends A. It is inheriting single abstract method. So A is also functional interface. So is B. Clear or not clear? A and B. Is everyone clear? Yes or no? Okay. Next one. Functional interface or not a functional interface? Unfortunately, there are answers there. Why no? Because This is okay. Which two abstract methods you are having? One is show, public abstract world show, and one is what? Calc. So how many abstract methods are we having now? Two. Since there are two abstract methods, how can you call it as a, it's an ordinary interface. It is not a functional interface. This is your marker interface, guys. You are, when I take you to IO, you will see. I'll discuss the serializable interface and all, and you will know more about it. So is it an empty interface or non-empty interface? It's an empty one called as marker. But is it a functional interface? It is not a functional interface. Yes, functional or not functional? I've already given the answer. Interface E is a functional interface or not a functional interface? Not a functional interface. Guys, when you are looking at the answer, still you are saying, of course it is a functional interface. Anyone wants to tell me which is that SAM, which is that single abstract method, extends A. So calc method is the single abstract method. Is this an abstract method? Guys, just now we did that. Default, and this is static. So functional interfaces mean single abstract method. And in addition to that, you can have 10, default methods and 20 static methods. How does it matter? Meaning any implementation class of E, how many functionalities it will have to implement? Single or multiple? Single. So everyone is clear? E is also a functional interface. Are we 100% clear on functional interfaces? Okay. So now is the good time to enter lambda expression. Okay. So yesterday, I think I had shared that also. Yes. So open day 16 data and you will find there is a readme regarding lambdas. Open that. So you can read the initial part. I'll explain. It's just a background, some historical background. It is already available from your day 16 data. Found it? Okay, start reading. So I'll read it line by line. The lambda expression word has been derived from lambda calculus math this. So if you have a mathematical background, lambda calculus tremendously simplified the math part, and the same concept they have borrowed in programming languages. So which was the first language to introduce lambda expression? Lisp. That is what it started with. Java is not at all the first language. It is one of the last languages actually to adopt the lambda expression. So other languages, I don't know your background. Those who know Python would already, or C++ already supports, but everyone has an understanding of JavaScript. So you have already seen in JavaScript, functional programming, function literals, anonymous functions, lambda expressions, and all of that. Same thing I'm going to show you in Java. Everyone remembers the anonymous functions. I mean, function literals in this, right? Arrow functions, basically. Yes or no? JavaScript. So same thing here. Now read this very carefully because this is good for answering questions in interviews. Does everyone agree with this? Java is a, I'm not saying purely object-oriented, but it is a object-oriented language. So with the exception of primitive types, everything is an object. You know, customer is an object, fruit is an object, even your array is an object. And a class creates instances. Instance of the class is nothing but an object. So till Java 8, it wasn't possible to directly just define a function and pass it. Okay, there was no way of defining a method or a function which is passable as a function argument. So there was no way of passing the method or returning a method body. I mean, passing the functionality wasn't possible. Passing the behavior wasn't possible till Java 8. Agreed? or not agreed? Understood or not understood? I have at least not shown you. If you know independently, I don't know that, but I have not shown any we had not reached here. It wasn't possible. So if you remember our earlier discussion, we wanted to that comparison, sorting of whatever bank accounts and all that. So we could say new comparator. So we could pass the comparison function using anonymous inner class, but that also forced us to write a class. So the closest one we came to, the closest reduction of the code we came to was anonymous inner class. Now I want to take you further. So everyone knows this, so let us repeat run, but it's good to revise. So finally, what is a lambda expression? It is nothing but an anonymous function which can be passed as the method argument, as well as it can be returned from the method also. So what are the three parts of the lambda expression? You have arguments, the lambda list of parameters, you have the body, and return type is, we generally don't mention the return type. Return type is totally optional. So now tell me, you have written arrow functions. You must have written tons of arrow function in your React, in your JavaScript. Okay, so can you tell me what is the difference between that versus Java's lambda expression? Spot the difference. It's a very simple example, very simple difference. Let me see. In the right arrow. So here that is a fat arrow. We call it in JavaScript as a fat arrow function. Fat arrow. This is a thin arrow. We don't call it here in Java thin arrow. We call it as a right arrow. Okay. So here this is the type arguments and the lambda separator and the body. You got it? So it is exactly the same other than the lambda separator. So here there are so many examples. I mean, we are going to actually write it. So you can just have a look at it. So this is one of the example of lambda expression. So tell me, how many arguments am I passing to this lambda? 2 arguments here. And what is happening in the body of the lambda? It is returning the addition. But here you will see lambda expression is all about adding the conciseness, shortening, reducing of the code. So the beauty is, do you have to actually Java compiler onwards, compiler says, I don't require so much help. Compiler can deduce the data types. How you will understand after a little time. So here it can be shortened to just you don't have to define the types. See guys, Java is a strongly typed language. Till now, everywhere we were writing type first and then the variable. But in lambda expression, compiler can infer that. How? You will see shortly. And if it is a single liner lambda, one liner lambda, do I need the curly braces? I don't. Do I need to explicitly add this return statement? I don't. So that can be reduced ultimately to only this much. So tell me, is it part of any class or is it a pure behavior? Are you writing it in any class or is it just a pure behavior? It's a pure behavior. And that is what we are going to pass it as the method argument. Okay. So now here, so I've written a lot of readmes and all. You can read them later. So now let us start with the objective. So guys, this you have to do it with me. I'm not going to see, I always keep giving you instructions. I know where you can follow with my speed and where you cannot. So what I'm discussing now, Shubham, just now I made a statement and same question you are asking me again. So defer it to the lab session. Just now I said, you have to wait. Because I just now explained the whole thing in a minute ago. So wait now. So here, now let us start with an actual understanding of lambda with a simple objective. So what we are going to do is, we are going to write our own functional interface and we are going to replace it or represent it by lambda expression. So now I want you to code along with me, but I'll first explain the step and then we will write it. So listen to this. I want to perform any arithmetic operation on two double operands and return the result. Okay, this is my simplest objective. Later, of course, I'll take you to advanced ones. So, which arithmetic operation, for example, add, multiply, subtract, divide, modulo, square, square root, anything it can be. Okay, so this is the given, this is the requirement. So tell me, if you don't use those, I mean, if you don't, normally how you would have written it? You would have written the add method, multiply method, subtract method, divide method. I don't want to write 10 different methods. I just want to write one method. So what we are going to do is here. So here, how many functionalities, abstract functionalities I'm going to expose? Single abstract method. So here we are going to write, you are going to write along with me. We'll create an interface. That interface will be a functional interface. So we'll add the annotation. And here we will add a method declaration. So tell me, which method, I mean, what type of a method we will write? Static, abstract, or default? Pick up the option. Abstract method, absolutely. So here, tell me, if you are working on two double operands, what will be the type of a result? What will be the result type if you are working on two double operands? Of course, it is going to be double. So, for example, it will be double. You can say, you can give her this. So, compute. I am just using some verb. So, that computation could be addition, multiplication. That is all going to be represented by your lambda. Soon, compute. And what will be the arguments here? Double, let's say A, double B. Okay, so this is the first statement. First step we are doing. We are creating a interface, functional interface, and we'll see how that can be replaced by a lambda. So currently, don't worry where it is going. You might be a little confused at where it is actually heading. In 10 minutes time, it will be all clear. So now please open your STS and let's create a new package and start with the introduction to lambda expressions or functional interfaces in Java. So src, create an interface here. Package name is P4 and let's give the name as any name you can supply, but computable tells you that it is going to compute a result, compute some operation. So you can say operation, compute any operation, anything. So I'm saying computable. If I add here, add functional interface, you will get a compiler error. Tell me why there is a compiler error. There is no SAM, there is no abstract method. This is a marker interface. So don't worry, we are going to add a single abstract method. So you don't have to add the default keywords. The implicit keywords are public and abstract. So add this double compute. You can say compute any operation, compute anything. Double A, some operand names, double B. So this I'm definitely going slow because this is the first time I'm showing you the functional interfaces in Java. Tell me when you are done. Done? Simple enough. Now read the second step. I've already written the whole description, so it becomes easier for you to understand. So now, here, can you from Java onwards, can you add the static methods in the interface? It's a Boolean question. Yes. Of course, you're right. Just now we did that. So we are going to create a new interface, computation utils. If it was earlier than 8, I would have written a class, collection utils like that, computation utils. And here we are going to add a static method to return the result of any operation performed on these two double operands. So read it slowly. Read this slowly. So we are going to write together computation utils. What I'll do is take this and put it as a comment. Let's create another interface. P4, another interface. Call it as computation utils. If you want to follow the same names which are used in sequence. And here, write the comment. So now you have, so this is what we are doing. So what it should do is, it should give me the result of any operation which is going to be performed on double operands. So public keyword I don't have to write, static. Tell me, anyone wants to tell me the return type? What this method is going to return? What will be the return type of this method? It is basically going to test that method. Double is a very right answer. Double. And here I'll say test. Yeah, I can give the method test compute, or I'll say compute any operation. Any operation, any this you can give. And now anyone wants to tell me, this is an important question. So you have to tell me things, guys, like what will be the argument you will pass here? Don't answer blindly. Here there is a answer in the question. Yes, please. What will be the arguments you will pass? So I got the answer from Ankit is A and B. I want more responses, not only Ankit. What about other guys? No, Shubham, you are completely off track. Where the scanner is coming here, do we add scanner ever in the utils interfaces? It comes in the tester. So here, typically I get the answer as double A comma B. Variable names can be anything. I hope everyone knows that. Okay, change it. A1, B1. How does it matter? It's a local variable name. So answer and tell me, is it sufficient? Are these two arguments sufficient or insufficient? Yes, Swapnil is right. Sufficient or insufficient? Answer is insufficient. Diksha, I will not use the word operator. What is it you have to supply? Which operation to perform? That operation to perform is going to be an additional argument. So the third argument is going to be the operation to perform. And that will be, anyone wants to tell me? So what will be the type of the last argument? Let's see whether people are answering. More answers, guys. String. Okay, I got the answer as string. Okay, so don't write it. It's a wrong answer. So suppose I say string operation. So here, if you do string operation, what is it you'll have to do inside? What is it you'll have to do inside? Switch casing. So suppose you give the cases as add, subtract, multiply, divide. It will work. I am telling you it will work. But tomorrow user says, I want square root. I want square root of all odd, I mean, the largest of the numbers, something. Every time you'll have to change the code. I don't want it. So think out of box and tell me. So that is why string operation is not a good suggestion at all, because that makes my code really brittle, breakable. Every time I'll have to modify it. So think again. You understood the disadvantage? The disadvantage is every time I'll have to modify. So I just got one answer. Where are others? Come on, Rajiv. I mean, Rajveer is correct in answer. Rajiv, you're wrong. If you say character, again, the same switch casing you'll have to do. Aren't you understanding? Here, what is it which is representing that single abstract behavior? A functional interface. So, like Rajveer has suggested, the correct answer is pass the interface reference here itself. So, computable, let's say computable, compute, anything. You can give a variable. So, listen to the statement. What are the first two arguments, guys? Operands. And what does, okay, I'll give you a better name. Wait. Operation. And which operation to perform on these two numbers is given by the third argument. Clear or lost? So if you are clear, can you tell me the one line that there is no switch casing? Somebody was suggesting char, somebody was suggesting string, and you will have to do the switch casing, if elsing and all that. Nothing is required. So tell me, what will be the one-liner code in line 11? And you'll see the beauty of it. Tell me, anyone wants to answer? What will be that one-liner? I want to perform the specified operation on these two numbers. No. Prashant, you are this wrong answer. Okay, I'll just tell you as a wrong answer. Here is not the lambda. Here is no lambda. Lambda is yet to come. And if you say, check your answer, Prashant and Himanshu, it is just adding the numbers. Did I say add? I want to support any operation. So both of you are wrong. Try third one. Yes, please. It doesn't involve lambda. Sagar, look at your answer. It says just addition. Did I say only addition? I want addition or subtraction or all this. No, Shubham, I'm not accepting answer in English. I want answer in here. Okay, so Piyush has got it right. So here, his syntax is wrong, but at least he's close. Guys, this is your interface reference. Interfaces cannot be instantiated, but can it refer to implementation class instance? Of course, yes. So return operation dot. This is where Piyush, you made a mistake. It is not a round bracket, which is the method in operation defined. Any operation dot compute A1 and B1. So, is there any switch casing required here? Is there any if-elsing switch casing required here? Absolutely not. So this is your second step. So which are the two steps we have climbed so far? We declared the functional interface, and we have written another interface which has the tester, which has a static method, which is accepting the two arguments, which are operands and the behavior. This is representing single abstract behavior compute. Tell me, completed or not completed? It's a two-liner code. So I'm inviting you, I'm encouraging you to write it. Tell me, done or not done? Understood or not is a separate story. You will not understand till I complete the third step. So now let us write the tester. This is tester is going to be the class because it has a main method and all that. Okay. Tester. And here, first finish that import static business. So you can call the method directly import static. What was that? Package name is P4, right? P4 dot computation utils dot any operation. So here is my question. Okay. So don't jump to lambda. Okay, let me say this. You're not allowed to use a lambda expression. Okay, that is my given. So no lambda expression, please. I'm already saying this because I want you to understand. I want you to derive that logically. So here, what I want is here, display result of addition of two numbers and here display the result of anything product. You can choose your operations. So here, don't think in lambda expression, please. And anyone wants to tell me, how will I display? How will I add these two numbers? Some numbers, 10, 20, anything I can take and show the result. Okay, you have to call this method, guys, as everyone understood that. So call that method. I'm waiting here. It is a little confusing in the beginning, but you need that time to understand. So which is the method you are going to call? I have already answered that. Any operation method. So since I'm not getting any answers, let's do it together. Here. So I want to display the results. Am I getting any answer? Okay, very right, Yash. Absolutely correct. Exactly. So let us do it so that everyone understands. So which is the method I want to call? Any operation. Now go slow, guys. What are the first two arguments? Numbers. You can have any numbers. I don't care about the numbers. Anyone wants to tell me what is the third argument? Yes, please. What is the third argument? Interface reference. So tell me, can interfaces be instantiated? No. But can you create a separate class? Let us say adder. Okay, adder, public class adder implements computable and implement the method to add the two numbers. It's a yes or no question. Yes. But guys, you know a shortcut. Do I have to separately create a class or can I inline the class? Can I write it in an inline manner? Yes, of course. So that is what this one Yash had given us the answer. So here, new instance of the anonymous inner class which implements computable. So simply say new computable. And what I said is addition of two numbers. So which two numbers? A plus B. And if you run this, you'll definitely see the addition of these two numbers displayed. So I'm giving you a minute to give me result of product of two numbers in a similar manner. Do it and tell me whenever you are done. It's the same thing. Let me know whenever you finish. Computation util. Okay, here is the computation utils. Shall I send you? I'll send you the things. Done? Very good. Just a second. Let's do it so that everyone gets it. Let me show you, send you all the code. This is a functional interface I have sent you. Then I'm sending you that another interface, computation utils. And here I'm sending you my tester. So that everyone is on the same page. I sent you all. Okay. So now tell me. So it is like, again, the same thing. So here, so much of a boilerplate code. Boilerplate code means repetitive code. Anyone wants to tell me which line number will change or what will be the change? I just copy pasted the whole block. What will be the line number? Tell me the line number. Which will be the line number? 24. And only thing which changes is addition of numbers replaced by product of the two. Are we good? Are we clear? And you can see the result in a clear-cut manner. Has everyone understood it so far? Zero ambiguity? Okay. Now the point. What is the point? The point is, this was the approach we had to take till Java 7 because Java 7 was only supporting object-oriented features. Was it possible earlier to pass the behavior directly as a function argument in form of a higher order function? Absolutely not. But from Java 8 onwards, is it required for us to write the entire anonymous inner class or a separate class? Or will you be able to pass? Nilesh is saying lag. Everyone is feeling the lag? Getting the lag? No. Nilesh, problem at your end. So here, was it possible to pass the behavior earlier? Answer is no, but now it is possible. So would you like to pass the entire anonymous inner class instance? Or what is it which is changing between code to code is only the behavior. So now let us enter the lambda expressions. So here I'm going to do the same thing but using concise coding. So here I'm mentioning, so instead of creating, you can write this comment, instead of creating entire anonymous inner class to pass the behavior, Java 8 onwards, it is possible to pass it directly. And that directly is nothing but the anonymous function is equal to lambda expression. Okay, so stop coding, stop typing, pay full attention here. So same output I want, but I'm not ready to write so much of a repetitive code. So do it with me. Okay, don't do it with me parallelly because sometimes you may not get it. So here I want to replace this anonymous inner class just by the raw behavior, pure behavior. So see what I'm doing. This part is the same. Okay. So this part is the same. First two arguments are the same, just the double operands. So now what is the third argument? Is it the data members or is it a behavior? What is it I want to pass as the third member, as the third argument? Everyone agrees with me, behavior. So do I want to multiply the numbers? Do I want to divide the numbers, square root, whatever? So now understand the shortcut. You know this, you have done JavaScript, so it will be very easy for you. So do you have to create this anonymous inner class? Absolutely not. So scrap it. Do you have to tell the compiler that you are overriding this, implementing this method? Absolutely not. Why? Because the moment compiler knows that the third argument is computable, how many abstract functionalities are you having in that computable? Single or multiple? Single. So compiler already knows you are going to implement the compute. So now what happens is, now comes the, now you know the lambda syntax. I'll give you as a reference. What is the syntax of a of a lambda expression? You know that. So that is your arguments, a right arrow, and the body. Okay, so this is what we are going to fit it in. So anyone wants to tell me what will be the arguments here? How many arguments are we passing to this lambda? 2 arguments. So simply pick them up. You can have any variable's name, any variable name. How does it matter? Okay. So this is your LHS of lambda, a right arrow, and then first I'm writing it in the full-fledged manner. Then we'll apply further reductions. The body of the lambda, bracket over. So 1, 2, this I'll require one more, right? Okay. So now tell me, what is it I want to do here? So suppose I say I want to divide two numbers. Okay. So anyone wants to tell me what should I write here? I want a division this time. Tell me what should I write in the body of the lambda? I want a division, Prashant. So here it should be, you can't say just a/b, you'll have a compiler error. Return a/b. And it is a Java statement. So write it here. I'm sending you this whole thing. If somebody is not able to do that. After doing JavaScript, I don't think you should have issues. But now, are there further reductions possible? Answer is yes. 100% yes. Now the same thing I'm giving with a further reduced form. Guys, lambda expressions are called as syntactical sugar to add the conciseness. So now let me ask you. Java is a strongly typed language, meaning you had to supply the data types here. But when you are using as an argument of a lambda, your Java compiler knows that these are nothing but the arguments of this method. So tell me, adding the type arguments, adding the arguments is required, type of the arguments is required, or can it be inferred by the compiler? Answer is it can be inferred by the compiler. So copy this much. And if there are two, if there's a one argument, you can drop the bracket parenthesis also, but there are two arguments. Argument names can be anything. I'm just using a comma b. Okay, then comes your right arrow. Now, is it a single liner lambda or is it a multi-line lambda? Single line. So in that case, do you seriously require these curly braces? You don't. See the word expression. So it is going to return implicitly. So you don't require return and you don't require the trailing semicolon also. So that can be reduced simply to A/B. And now you observe and conclude. This was the day of Java without functional programming, without lambda expression. And the entire thing is reduced to a one-liner using lambda expression. I'll wait here for a minute till you say you got it. Now I think it should make sense. The functional interface, the tester method, any operation, and the argument type being the behavior. That behavior, I don't have to create an anonymous inner class instance. I can just pass a raw behavior, pure behavior, and make it passable. So I don't know whether you have heard this word. Have you heard in JavaScript the word higher order function? Okay, so can you tell me what is the name of the higher? Oh, okay, why don't I check your JavaScript thing? Give me the examples of 2, 3 higher order functions which you have used in React or in modern JavaScript anytime. Okay, set interval. Anything else? Set timeout basically. Yes. Any other thing? Map. You must have used filter, map, reduce, everything, right? So these are the examples of your higher order function. Very similar higher order functions you are going to see. For each also you might have seen. I don't know exactly what all you have done, but the point is. Okay, so now come back to Java. Can you tell me the name of the higher order function here? Give me the name of the higher order function. Any operation is a right answer. So what is a higher order function, guys? In Java, we call it as a higher order method. Meaning is the same. Any functionality, any method, any function where you can pass the behavior. Or in some cases, you will see the behavior being returned is nothing but not returns a function. Here, this is not an example of returning the function. Here is the example of your passing the function. Okay, so wherever you can pass the function behavior is nothing but a higher order function. Okay, so just as a practice, give me what is it? Yeah, give me the example which will return the average of two numbers. Okay, print average. Simple one. Just as a practice. And then we will start the existing higher order functions in Java, which are literally tons of them. Any operation? Yes, a plus b slash 2. You have to pass a bracket here. So just, I'm not wasting time too much because I have to show you some Java IPAs there. Okay. There is a precedence involved. You can see that and you can check the result. You don't require return. Yes, you are right. Most of you are right. Everyone is comfortable so far? Has everyone understood this? It is, like I said, other than the fat arrow reduced to thin arrow, everything else is the same. Now let us start with existing higher order functions in Java. So we will explore so many. So I'll start with the easiest one. Okay. So please open. Actually, it is not in collection. It is in iterable. My mistake. Okay. So now you have to follow the Java docs. Nobody expects you to remember the API, but people do expect you to understand it. So open the Java docs, please. And search here for iterable. Everyone reached iterable? Can I continue? Okay. So if you scroll down, you'll see so many this and all. So here they have added, Java guys have added a new method here for each. So tell me, is it a static method, public abstract method, or is it a default method? Simple question, simple answer. It is a default method. So it has got a default method implementation. Read the description. Performs the given action for each element of the iterable until all the elements, until entire collection is traversed, or you get some exception, right? So it is going to traverse. So tell me, here, if you use this for each method, will you have to explicitly attach an iterator? It's a Boolean question. Absolutely correct. Will you have to write a for each loop? No. So the whole idea about functional programming is removing how to be done, removing the loops and replacing it by higher order functions. Okay. So first and easiest higher order function is for each. Okay. So now I have yet to prove it to you why it is higher order function. So now tell me, what is the argument of a for each? You can see that there is an interface called as consumer. I'm going to explain. This is nothing but a functional interface. So here, anyone wants to tell me what's the meaning of question mark super T? You know the generics, you know wildcard and everything. Yeah. So what it means is T or its super types. Typically, we don't go to super type. We will restrict it to T. And now you tell me what is it you'll have to supply is only the action. Okay. So go systematically here. Now click on consumer, which is the package in which it is present, java.util.function, and tell me, is it a functional interface or not? The moment you see add functional interface, it tells you that. And the very important statement is, anytime you see the functional interface, can it be replaced by, can it be substituted by lambda expression? 100% yes, because functional interface is a single abstract method and that behavior you are going to pass. Okay, so now this is a functional interface and it is telling you that functional method is accept. So click on that accept. So now this is your accept method, which accepts. It is a consumer. Consumer is the sum which grabs the input. So it is grabbing that input T and doesn't return anything. It is not a supplier. Supplier is the one who will supply something. So this is going to perform supplied operation, whatever operation you supply on this particular argument. So I'm not asking you whether you are clear with how to use it, but is the discussion clear? So I'll recap. Which is the name of the higher order function you have seen? Name of the higher order function? For each. What is the argument of for each? The argument of for each, consumer interface. Is it a functional interface or not a functional interface? It is a functional interface. And which is that SAM, single abstract method, or a functional method you accept? Okay. So now let us put all these things together. And for a one or two examples, I'll first write it as an anonymous inner class, and then we'll quickly replace it by lambda. So open the next one now. So let's create a new package now here. Create a new package, P5. And since we are going to write a lot of such exercises to give you more and more practice of lambda, let's start it. So I'm saying create a fixed size list of integers, display it using a higher order function, which is nothing but for each. Okay. And initially we'll do it with a anonymous inner class, and later we'll replace it by your lambda expression. So I'll send you these comments if you want. So now tell me, how will you use which method? We have done this, all of this. So tell me which method. Give me some numbers added in the fixed size list. Which method should I use? Arrays.asList. Very right, Prashant. So let's have this. Arrays.asList. Always give the assorted data, so that later we are going to do sorting and all that. So you can read that. Okay. So, and assign it to control1, new local variable, list of integers, and I'll call it as numbers, ints, whatever. Finish it this much. In the meantime, I'll ask you a question. Is list iterable? Answer is yes. So it has inherited the for each functionality. So here, ints dot, okay, sorry, I should ask you. Earlier, we used to write the for loop for each loop. Now that is going to be replaced by this for each as a higher order function, where you just have to supply the action here. So start and check ints dot for each. You can see that performs the given action on each element of the iterator. So this is what is. We are not going to, of course, keep it as null, but it starts with the null. So I'll give you the API help. So what is that API? It's a method of an iterable. That method is public. Okay, I'll not write the default, but public void for each. And that for each method is taking the consumer reference. So anyone wants to tell me, don't think in lambda yet. So tell me, what should be the argument here? I told you already, anonymous inner class. First do that, and then we will do it in lambda. What should I pass? New consumer is the right answer. So here, new instance of the class which implements consumer. So simply say new consumer, control space it. What will you replace t by? Integer. And anyone wants to tell me, which is the method, which is that single abstract method which we have to implement? Accept method. So here, nobody expects you to remember. That's why I'm showing you all this with her ID. And now tell me, what is the action? I gave you the answer here. I gave you the question here. What is it I want to do with each of these number? Which is the action I want to take on these numbers? Quickly. Display the same. So can anyone tell me, what should I write here? Tell me line number 19. Yes, SOP what? SOP T is a very right answer. So SOP. Okay. And run this and check whether it is working. It has to work. So these are your numbers from the list. Reach here. Is it working fine? Sumit has already said that. Working. So now I'm waiting here for a minute and I'm saying, I'll give you what I want. You know what I want. Replace anonymous inner class. Do we need from Java onwards this bulk of the code? No. What are you going to replace it by? Lambda expression. Of course, the result will be the same. So give a SOP using lambda expression. It will be a one-liner. So I'm waiting for you. Let's see if anyone gets it. I want the same output, but using a lambda expression. Yes, Abhijit, I'm waiting. I'm waiting all the time. If you're not using the control space and all, Abhijit, you will lag behind. So use the intelligence. Yes, Kanad, you are right. Let's wait for more people to answer. And you'll see you don't have to remember all this API. It comes naturally. When you say for each, you are going to take the same action on each of the numbers or each of the elements. I just got one answer. I'm waiting for more. There is one more improvement, Kanad, but I'll tell you along with this.
Ma'am, it's Kanad.
It is what?
Kanad.
Kanad. Okay, Kanad. Okay. Sorry for mispronunciation. Okay, people are getting it right. More answers, please, not just 3, 4. Waiting for the rest of you. Only there is a one more. There is only one more. What do you say? This, guys, if the argument list, the lambda, if it requires a single argument, you can drop the parenthesis also. So that is the ultimate thing. So SOP. Oh, sorry, not SOP. I'm so sorry. So what is it we are doing is ends dot for each. And you can use any argument name. So for example, say if it is a single argument lambda, one single argument, you can directly say. So I for integer, right arrow, and SOP, I. Somebody had said on same line, you can write it on the same line or different line. That is totally up to you. So adding lambda expression is all about adding the conciseness. Okay. If it is a 0 argument lambda or multi-argument lambda, you have to place the round brackets, parenthesis. For a single argument lambda, that's it. Understanding this? Getting it completely? The syntax and the meaning both. And you can run this, and of course, you are going to get the same output. Whether you access it using your normal for each loop or whatever, or you do it with a anonymous inner class or lambda expression, it is going to give you the same result. Can I continue? Does anyone want me to wait? Nobody's telling me to wait. So let's, oh, you want me to wait, Shubham. Okay. So I'm waiting here. I'll send you in the meantime this code in case you want it as a reference. This is which package? E5 test. All you need is a lot of practice. That's it. And then you'll start. You'll not use the earlier style programming, imperative style, and you will be using lambda expressions throughout. Oh, sorry. Okay, can I continue now? Okay, so now I'm going to give you exercise. It's a break time also. So I just want you to think over it in the break. Okay, so let's create a new one. Don't add too big code. Just keep the individual files simple and small. So let us create a new one. Create a new class, please. S2. And here, copy the list data. I don't want you to waste time in writing the same things again. Okay, so finish it, create a new class and copy that data fixed size list of integers. Now I'll ask you some unrelated, I always like to ask unrelated questions just to check whether you remember or not. So if I say remove 0, and if I display the list here, tell me what will happen, exception or output? Everyone understands it? Which exception? Unsupported operation exception, because now you have created this method returns you a fixed size list whose size cannot be modified. So 100% you will get unsupported operation exception. Okay. So now fix it. And here create growable. You can use array list, linked list, vector, anything. Let's say array list. Create a growable array list from a fixed size list of integers. I've taken this also. I don't remember, maybe in sets or something. So you read the problem statement and give me the answer. I want to do the removal and all that. So I hope you're typing. So do we want it as a fixed size list or growable list? I want growable. So how to do that? Nobody's answering? Or are you trying? I don't think anyone is answering this. So here I have already got a fixed size list, right? So don't write this. So here we have done this, guys. I think you have forgotten. Yes, Sumit, you're right. So here I can do it in one line also, but since people are not understanding, let's do it in 2 lines. Analyst, integer, let's say list, equal to new. Now tell me which constructor of the array list you want me to use. The default constructor, the collection based constructor, or the capacity based constructor? The wrong answer. Capacity is such a wrong answer. Collection. Guys, list is a collection. So here, of course, you can say this collection, and here you pass the ints. If you want, you can combine it in one line also. Doesn't matter. So let me ask you a proper question. What is the nature of ints? Fixed or growable? F or G? What is the nature of list? F or G? Growable. And what happens in this line? Your JVM will copy all these references from the fixed size list into a growable list. In short, if I do list.remove 0 and SOP the list, output or exception, of course you'll get an output. Confirm that. You got that, right? So this was the basic thing. Now I don't want this. I want something more. So what I want is remove all elements in this list, which are, let us say, all elements from list which are greater than something. Let's say greater than 30. I have something greater than 30. Yes. Okay, I'll say anything greater than 40 and display the list. Okay. So here is the question. I'm giving you a break here. Remove the elements, all elements from the list which are greater than 40 and display the list again. So tell me how you would have done it normally. You remember we did that loan accounts and loan type of this. So what will you would have done in the earlier coding? Can you use for each? You can't, because you will get a concurrent modification. No, concurrent modification exception. Don't you remember? You got it in the morning. So you'll have to attach an iterator and you'll have to use the iterator's remove method. Recall that. But today is the day of functional programming. So you are not going to do all that way. So please open. I'm giving you the hint and giving you the 10 minutes break. You can think it over. So go to your collection interface. Collection. So just a second. Oh. So look for your collection interface, and there is a method called as remove if. I'll repeat the statements. So the answer is remove if. It is also a higher order function, and it will remove all the elements from the underlying collection which satisfy the given predicate. Predicate is nothing but a filter. So I have given you the name of the higher order function. If you want, you can try it, or you can simply relax in the 10 minutes break. When we resume in 10 minutes, we will solve it together. So let's take a 10 minutes break here, guys, and continue in 10. I hope everyone remembers what is it we were discussing. So you have some data. I'm just giving you the examples in integers and all. Later means in the lab session, we will apply to more practical scenarios. So we want to remove all the elements and display the list again. Has anyone tried? Okay, that is really great. So I don't just want 10 out of you, I want 200, 220 of you to try this. So let us try this together. You can start helping me. So are we going to attach an iterator explicitly, or are we going to use a higher order function? We are going to use the higher order function. So here, let me specify which is that higher order function we are going to use. Higher order function, higher order method is the same. So it is the method of API, means method of collection interface. Correct? And that method is public. It's a default method, default implementation. So default Boolean. If the element can be removed, even if any single element can be removed, it will return true. And the method name is remove if. And tell me, what is the argument of remove if? It's a functional interface whose name is predicate. Predicate is nothing but your filter. And if you see the type of the predicate is question mark super T, which is T is nothing but the type of the collection which you are going to use. And that predicate is filter. So now let me ask you step by step. Is predicate a functional interface or not a functional interface? I want everyone to understand this. So is it a functional interface or not? It is a functional interface. The moment you say this, which is that single abstract method of a functional interface? I hope you have done it. Okay, I don't know whether you have done this exercise. I'll help you with this. So remove if predicate. Just follow the Java docs. It is a functional interface with a single argument method. Sorry, single abstract method test. So here is the element. And now you have to supply Boolean value. And if this Boolean value returns true, tell me, will the element be removed from the list or will it be retained in the list? Remove or retained? I'll repeat the question again. If this Boolean returns true, will this element be retained or removed? Answer is it is removed from the list. Okay. So now let us, okay. So let me answer me openly. Do you want, do you want me to write using first anonymous inner class, or can we write the lambda expression directly? Guys, when I'm asking you so openly, give me open answer. Does anyone want me to write it using anonymous inner class? Nobody requires. Okay, so very good. So that reduces one step. So now, when you say remove if, compiler knows that you are going to pass a predicate. So anyone wants to tell me what will be the argument of a lambda expression? Will there be any argument to the lambda expression? Yes, one argument. What will be that argument? No. This one, Srinivas, you are totally off track. There's no iterator and all that. What will be the argument? The argument is the element here, right? No. You are completely off track. I was asking you the argument of a lambda expression. I don't think you are ready for that. So let us write it using the anonymous inner class, because you gave me all the wrong answers. So single abstract method is public Boolean test P. So here, because it takes me just a minute with the with what? With your ID. So ints dot, not ints. Is it ints? No, I can't remove it from the ints, but I can do it from list. So here, then stop writing and give me a minute to explain. Remove if the condition is met. Okay. So here, since you gave me the wrong answers, I'm forced to write it in a anonymous inner class. So new predicate. If you had given me the correct answers, I wouldn't have bothered. At least now tell me, what will be the type of the predicate? Integer. which is that single abstract method which you will have to implement here? Test. And here, when will you like to return true? Because if you return true, that particular element will be removed from the underlying list. I had given you some simple example. So here, if the element is greater than 40, so here you can say T greater than 40. So here, let me start asking you. So for the first, how many iterations? First 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 iterations. What will your test method return? True or false? Easy question. False. So the elements will not be removed. But for the fifth iteration, 45 is greater than 40. So returns true. Element will be removed. And then let us write now I'll write it using a lambda expression directly. So you can see that. So I and SOPI. Okay, so just check. This, of course, we are going to replace it by lambda. But since I asked you the questions and people were giving me wrong answers, I took an intermediate step. So please check. Are the elements greater than 40 removed from the list? Simple question, simple answer. So it is working fine. So now as the next step, tell me who has time and energy and will to write it in so many lines. So this is what is going to be replaced by a one-liner. So now start working with me. List.remove if same. Now tell me, what is it you need to pass in? Okay, let me say this properly. Is predicate a functional interface? Yes. Can it be replaced by lambda expression? 110% yes. So now guys, what is it you have to check? You don't have to mention anything. Directly come to the argument of this method. So when I asked you what will be the lambda argument, you gave me all various wrong answers. I was expecting a single argument T or I. So here you can say I, variable name doesn't matter. And anyone wants to tell me what will be the right hand side? So that is nothing but going to be T greater than 40. Here I have used I. So I greater than 40. So now you compare this entire anonymous inner class with a concise expression. And what is going to be the output? Same or different? 100% same. So you still see the elements whichever are removed, whichever were greater than 40. So I'll wait here for a minute. You tell me when you are ready. We will go further. Understanding it or is it confusing? Send the code. Actually, Girish, it's not, I'm not at all saying I don't want to send the code, but Girish, I want you to try out the code. So why don't you try this out? I've explained it word by word. So just resist it. Oh, network glitch. Okay, then I'll send you the code. So test 2 is the code. Take a look at it and do this. So guys, first 1 or 2 examples, do write it in an anonymous inner class, and then you can jump to lambda expression. Waiting here for a minute. If you have any confusion, any question, do ask me openly. You're supposed to tell me when you are done. Otherwise, I'll be waiting indefinitely. Okay, some of you are saying. Anyone wants me to wait? Let me ask the reverse question. Does anyone want me to wait? If even one of you wants me to wait, I'll wait. You know that. So these are the two examples of higher order functions you have seen. Which are the higher order functions which are in front of you? One is remove if and one is for each. So this is an example of functional programming in Java. Instead of writing the entire class, entire method, or writing loops and all, here you are simply supplying what is to be done, and the implementation part is coming from is coming from the you're coming from your higher order functions. So I think I can proceed since nobody's asking me to wait. Let's do the next one in the sequence. Okay, so let me ask you a question. I'm talking about this, but I have a question before that. Is map iterable? This is all revolving around collection framework. You know that map is not iterable. So till now, was there any way to directly traverse over the map, or did we have to convert it to collection view? We had to convert it to the collection view. But now that is a history. When I say history, I mean there are new methods introduced. So now you will see in the map interface, they have introduced a higher order function for each. So open the map interface, please. Look for map interface, java.util.map, and search for a higher order function or higher order method, this thing for each. Reached here? Where have you seen this for each method earlier? In which interface you have seen this earlier? No. Iterator is a wrong answer. Anyone wants to correct? Which is the interface? Iterable is the interface. Iterable has the method. And what was the argument of that for each? Do you remember? It was a consumer, because it was working on a single type. So now see that for each has been, for each method name is the same, but is it a consumer or is it a by consumer? Of course, it is a by consumer, because map consists of key and a value pair. Are you understanding? So there is the understanding is the same, meaning is the same. Only thing is a by consumer which works on the key type as well as the value type. So now click on by consumer and tell me, is it a functional interface? Simple question, simple answers. Yes. Can it be replaced by, can it be assigned by, can it be substituted by a lambda expression? 100% yes. So now you scroll down and see which is that single argument, single abstract method, accept. Earlier, you remember, accept had only one argument. Now it has two arguments. So can anyone tell me what does this T correspond to and what does this U correspond to? T and U are just the letters. Exactly. You're absolutely right. Nothing but a key and a value pair. So now let us do the things together. Now I'm not going to write it as an anonymous in your class. I think you will do it without one. So please open your code. I'll tell you some things. Wait a second. I'm just taking our map related things. This is working on the map. So I'm giving instructions, slow instructions. Open day 17.1, pick up comma banking, custom exceptions, and utils. I said copy the packages from earlier, comma banking, custom exceptions, and utils, Control C, and paste it under day 17 to SRC. So that, we already have a map here. I'll wait. You understood my instructions? From day 17.1, pick up this core package, custom exception and utils, and finish it. Done? Okay. So now, please open. What is it we can open is the utils. Yeah. So open the utils package and open that collection utils. Everyone should be able to see that populate map. So now this is my starting point. Okay, so now let us create another tester in P5. Test 3. I'll give you the requirement. You'll give me the code. So get populated map of accounts from utils and display all entries. What is entry? Key and a value pair from the map using higher order function. Which is that higher order function? For each. I'll give you the comments. So please pause your coding, stop your coding, and let me ask you a question. We have solved it just in the morning half. Suppose there were no higher order functions, then how you would have done it? If I want to display both key and a value pair without using that lambda expression higher order function, how you would have done it? Very right, very good. Entry set. And I hope you remember, we had to do so much. We had to call an entry set method. Then we got set of map.entry. And then we had to attach an iterator and do that. I'm not allowing you to do that, allowing you any of it. You directly use a for each function and give me the output. I'll wait here for 2 minutes. In 2 minutes, I'll join you. But before that, tell me, is the question clear? You're not going to convert it into collection view at all. You're directly going to use higher order function. Try it out and we'll see whether you can do it or not. You do let me know whenever you finish doing it. In another 2 minutes, I'll join you. It's going to be two-liner. Done. Very good, Prashant. Let's wait for others. Okay, I don't see any more done. So maybe people are stuck here. So let's help. So first is I'll use the import static. So I can, use that. Utils, collection utils, and the populate map method. So here, populate map. Here, assign the statement to new local variable. See, I'm just giving you the tricks so that your typing becomes lesser. So this is given. Now, as stated, all you have to use is a higher order function map.forEach. Read, performs the given action for each entry in this map unless and until all the entries have been processed. So this is your for each and this is your argument list. So what are you going to pass here? Do you want to pass an anonymous inner class instance or a pure behavior using lambda expression? Pure behavior. So can you tell me, guys, I don't expect you to remember all this. You are too new to this. So here the what is it? Argument is a by consumer, and it has a single abstract method accept. So can you tell me how many arguments will you pass as the to the lambda? 2 arguments. Okay, so let's do this. And these 2 arguments are nothing but, okay, sorry, when I have 2 arguments, will I require it as a parenthesis, or I can write it without parenthesis? Parenthesis is required. You know this. So here is the parenthesis. And for making you clear, when I say k comma v, everyone understands. And here, now I want to print all the entries. So that is the only the action I have to supply. But looping, that calling that entry set, attaching for each, JVM is doing for me. So all I'm doing is SOP. You can remove this extra semicolon. And here I can simply do this in K, sorry, some separator like in earlier morning code and V. So guys, take a moment. Okay, so this is a, I'll send you, in case I'll send you these 2 lines. The whole idea is to do the understand the functional programming. So I want you to compare this code with our earlier test collection view.java. And you can see I had to use that import static. I had to write that for each loop and get everything. So which is easier, which is more readable, which is more understandable to use? I hope the answer is lambda expression. And run this, and you should be able to see the output. Okay, I'm not given the title. I'll give the title. Map entries. Otherwise, you'll not know where the output is beginning, So just give some header there. And you can see, as earlier, it is internally calling entry set and iterating over entry set. But the point is, your job has reduced so much. Getting it or not? Anyone wants me to wait? Are you getting the same output? Okay. So this is your another. For each, the function name is higher order function is still for each, but earlier I had used it on iterable. Now I'm attached it to the map. So now let me, anyone wants me to wait? Has everyone done this? I've sent you the code also. So people have done it. Very good. You'll see you just require a day to get little bit of feel of it, and you'll start replacing your earlier larger code by a simpler one. So here, now let's do the sorting business. Okay, so here, let's add this into, custom ordering sorting. So the moment I say, I'll first talk in example. These are all the examples of higher order function. So let me just go somewhere here, P5. Let's create a class. And here, let's see this. S4. Okay, so here, just follow this. I have yet to the, I'll give you the requirement. Here, sort the, what is it we have? You got the data as a bank accounts. So let's this sort the bank accounts, but I'll not make it very difficult in the beginning. Sort the list of, I'm just thinking what level of difficulty you can manage. Okay, sort the list of, I'll say, bank accounts as per something, as per creation date or as per whatever, as per the account balance, let's say, is the requirement. So first tell me, is the question clear? I'll give you, or we will create a list of bank accounts Later, I will of course show you map, but little later. So I suppose I have somewhere a list of bank accounts. I just want to sort the list of bank accounts as per the account balance. And do I want to use the natural ordering? If you say yes to natural ordering, then I have to change the bank account class using custom ordering. So that custom ordering is going to be, it is going to be what? Your comparable based or comparator based? Comparator based. Is the question clear or not? Is the statement, is that comment clear or not? Okay. So I have not yet, don't start off, don't take off. I have a lot to explain. So now open. So that is the question we are going to solve in a couple of minutes. So open collection utils and tell me in which data structure currently bank accounts are stored. Is it a list? Is it a set or is it a map? Everyone knows it is a map. So see guys, it is not only about sorting. So I'm giving you more and more, practice. So here, add a static method to copy bank accounts from a map into the list. So let's say array list. You can use array list, linked list, vector, any list is fine. And then we will have the sorting. We will do the sorting together. So I'm saying, suppose I don't allow you to use the functional programming. How will you do it? So let us do it first with something called as imperative style programming, where we have to write a lot of code and then we'll replace it by functional programming. So start with me. Anyone wants to tell me what should be the return type? See, I'm showing you systematically. First, I'll show you the sorting of lists, and then later I'll show you sorting of maps also. So what should be the return type of this method? I don't know whether I'm reaching you or is it too confusing? Wrong answer. Guys, how can you say this thing, bank account, to copy bank account? So my mistake here from, but I've said this array list. So you should have understood it immediately. It is going to be the array list of bank account type. Okay. And I'll say populate list. Now tell me what will be the argument here? Any argument is required or not required? Of course, it is going to be a map. So don't waste your time. You already have this. So just take this and pass it here. Okay. You will get a compiler error because we have not written anything. So now tell me, forget lambda expressions, forget functional programming. If I ask you to do this, how will you do this? I'm not asking you with a lambda expression at all. Later, of course, I'll ask you. But initially, tell me, how will you achieve? Values method. Very right, Abhijit. So what you'll do, you will say for each. First, you'll have to create an empty list. And you will have to, I'll do it. Instead of talking about it, do it with me. And then we are going to comment it and we'll do it in a functional programming manner. So create a new array list. Okay. This is an empty one. Return it to the caller so that compiler will not shout. Now, here in, before functional programming, we could not attach the for each directly. So here we are going to convert it to this for each bank account A in the map.values. All you'll do is list.add E. So tell me openly, honestly, is this code clear or not clear? Multiple responses, guys. 100% clear. So now I'm waiting here for a minute and replace Okay, before I give you the question, guys, this is where you are attaching a for each loop externally. So here, this is typically called as imperative style of programming. I don't know whether you have heard all these terms in JavaScript at all. So this is an imperative style where you are supplying what is to be done, that is the action to be taken, and how it is to be done. So this is typically imperative style of programming. Is it a functional style? It is not a functional style at all, non-functional style of programming. So now the question comes, the first question, replace it by declarative style of programming, which is called as nothing but functional programming. So I'm commenting this and I want somebody to give me the answer. Output has to be the same, but using functional programming. Yes, very good, Ragini. I already got the answer. I want more answers, guys. You just have to replace that explicit external for each by implicit for each. Oh, sorry. My mistake. Ragini, you are wrong. I'm so sorry. I thought you have done it correctly. My mistake. You're done it wrongly. I'll just give you the clue. Do you want to attach for each to the list or for each to the map? Yeah, that is very, I thought you have done it correctly. I did not see it clearly. So that is your mistake. Try it out, guys. I'm waiting here for a minute. That much is wrong, this one. Anyway, I'm waiting. You type it out. If you say list dot for each, it will not even iterate once because that list is empty. Yes, Mohad, you are right. No, Rishikesh, you have a problem. The for each method, Rishikesh, I'm giving you a clue. For each method of a map takes 2 argument lambda and you have supplied only 1 argument lambda. Yes, Ankush, you are right, but you don't require those curly braces. Reduce it. Yes, you forgot the key and a value pair. Yes. Yeah, most of you are right. I'm still waiting here. Try doing it on your own. And you will build better, you will have better confidence. Yes, Yogesh, you're right. Yes, Diksha, yes, it was correct. So now, map dot for each, and all you are going to pass is the action to be taken on each key and a value pair. So start with the parenthesis k comma v. Somebody has said I comma b integer comma book. You can use placeholders. These are nothing but a placeholders. So do you want to populate the key type of reference or a value type of reference in your array list, K or V? You want to add the value. So ignore the key, but still you have to add it in the argument. And you just say, what is the variable name? List.add, and you have a variable as B. I'll send you this whole method if you want, in case you want it as a reference. So I have given you both the styles of programming. The functional style is of course preferred any day, any time over the imperative style. So can I continue, guys? Now let us come to our original objective. This also I just took it as a chance to show you something more. So now come to the original objective, and here I have to sort the list of bank accounts. So start with your import static and get that list first. So import static utils, collection utils, start. So that is your populate list. Sorry. Populate list, and it requires a map, and that populate map method is going to return it as applied. And here you simply say control 1, and here you can give a variable name as account list maybe. So you finish it here till here, and then we'll continue. Done? Okay. So all I have got is the array list, which has copied the references from map into list. So anyone wants to answer, is this a sorted list or is it an unsorted list? It is an unsorted list because it is coming from a hash map. Hash map is an unsorted, unordered map. So now, the moment I say custom ordering, comparator and all, can anyone tell me which is the method you want to use? Which is the method you want to use for sorting the bank accounts from the list? Okay, you are giving me the comparison function. I'm not asking that. Guys, you misunderstood me. I said, how do you sort a list? Of course, you're right, compare, comparator and all, but which is the method you will use for this? Exactly. This was the question. So now you got it right. So here, collections dot sort. Tell me, do you want to use the first one without comparator or with comparator? First version or second version? Everyone understands second version. So pick up that. And what is the first argument here? List to be sorted. So account list. Is everyone 100% clear so far? I'm going slow over this because I know it is sometimes it can be confusing in the beginning. Have you reached here with understanding, guys? I've yet to write it. I've not written it completely. Just respond to whatever I have written. Is it clear or not? Okay. Now anyone wants to tell me what we used to give as a second argument? What is the second argument I have to pass? Any class. Abhijit, I can't accept your answer. Instance of the class which implements comparator. Agreed? Everyone agrees with me? So now please open Java Docs and search here for collections. Look for collections here, and you can see here collections.sort, and you can look for this. So this is the method we want to use. Stop your coding. Allow me to explain. Now click on comparator and tell me, is comparator a functional interface? Answer is yes. And which is that single abstract method we always used to implement? Compare or compare to? Compare method. So you know that already. So come back here. And now all you have to do is replace this single abstract method SAM by the lambda expression. So I'll wait here for a minute. I want to see whether you can do it on your own. So are you going to pass as the second argument anonymous inner class instance? Please don't. If you cannot directly think in lambda, take that intermediate step. So you can say new comparator and all that. But if you are comfortable, directly do it in the lambda expression, and we will stop. We'll stop for today here. I am waiting for your answer, rather waiting for you to do it. I'll repeat my statement. I said, if you're not comfortable in lambda still with the syntax and all, write it as an anonymous inner class and then reduce it to lambda, or directly do it. Your choice. I1 comma I2. This one, Mohad, as in creation date, you mistook it. Your approach is right, but I want it as per the balance. The criteria is not date. Change it. I1 comma I2. I1 dot get balance is less than. Okay, this one, Kanad. This is 1 and minus 1. What about 0? This won't work. You have to give me three values. That method has to return you three, plus 1, minus 1, or 0. You're just doing plus 1 and minus 1. So there's one output which is missing. We have done this, guys, using that casting into double and all that. Yeah. So cast one of that double type, balance as a uppercase double wrapper, and do it. So to make everyone comfortable, I'm writing it in a anonymous inner manner. And soon to be replaced by lambda expression. One dot get balance dot compare to O2 dot get balance. But this has only sorted the list. So after sorting, then you can use your for each or whatever to display it. And here you can say this is list of bank accounts. So A and SOP. Okay. And you can give some SOP here. Sorted accounts as per the balance. And just check whether it is working correctly. So sorted accounts as per balance 35, 78, 95, and 1 lakh. Yes. So this is working perfectly as desired. Once you do this, now replacing it by lambda should be easy. Has everyone understood this approach at least? I'd explain this. So instead of having that checking the balance and spending 3 lines to 3 lines, you can use this trick. Convert primitive to wrapper and do that. So this was only a warm-up. So now you comment this and write it as a lambda expression. Okay, so start dictating. How many arguments lambda you're going to write? How many arguments? 1, 2, 0, 2 argument lambda. Okay, so here, since it is two accounts, account 1, account 2, I'm just calling it as A1 and A2. And here, this is exactly the behavior I want to. This is what it is. Okay, I'll change this to O1, O2, so I don't have to make any changes here. And you yourself tell me which sounds. I think I missed a one bracket here. And output wise, of course, it has to be the same. Whether you do it in an imperative style, where you are supplying what is to be done and how it is to be done, versus you're just purely passing the action, the behavior, output has to match, output has to be the same. So confirm that. Yes. And this is it for today. So I'll wait till people try this out. Give it a try. You let me know when you have finished trying, because we are stopping here after this. If you have not tried on your own, at least have you understood this lambda expression syntax in Java? Done this also, very good. But only very few are saying done. You have entire lab session today. I mean, first half of lab session to try this out. Okay, so we are stopping here. And of course, I will be giving elaborate lab instructions and assignment. So assignment I'll not even supply. So you focus. I'm just talking to you for a last minute. You have lot of things to revise. So I think you will require at least, you start at 2:30, right? You start the session, lab session at 2:30. So at least I think you'll require 1 to 1.5 hours. So I will join after that. And then I will type any individual questions or group questions or whatever you have not understood. But my request to all of you is, please go through all the code which we have discussed, which we have written together. So when I join in, you can start asking me questions. I'll explain, I'll revise anything and everything what you want. And then we'll discuss some fresh assignment and you will solve it with me. So any immediate questions? Any urgent questions now? Okay, so if there are no questions, let us stop here for lunch break and resume in your lab session. That will be all.